If it's Wednesday, it's Hump Day Hangover. Greetings everyone, I'm Bart, the Success Educator, and today's topic is travel often. So, grab yourself a cup of coffee or a cocktail and let's get started. This is Hump Day Hangover. Take a moment and consider this. Traveling and exploring broadens your horizons. When you travel, you're actually enriching your creativity. You're strengthening and your commitment to a lifelong learning. You're becoming that lifelong learner. Research shows that traveling positively affects your overall health. So embrace the opportunity to disconnect from regular life. The relaxation you're going to experience when traveling is totally different than the relaxation you're going to experience at home, when you're visiting relatives, or even when you're traveling for work. Today's lesson, as with all, come from my best-selling book, My Moment to Succeed. Go out to my website, successeducator.com. You'll see a link out there to Amazon where you can purchase the book. I'll personalize it and autograph it for you. But let's get back to our topic of the day, which is travel often. As you travel, you focus on experiencing new customs and gaining a new perspective. Actually, what you're doing is you're realizing that the more you travel, the more you gain an appreciation for things you take for granted. You gain a stronger visualization of what you can create. So why don't you do this? Challenge yourself to designate 1 weekend a month to get away from your regular routines. Don't mean you need to purchase airline tickets or train tickets and travel to far off places. Road trips are a great way to unwind. The ever-changing scenery can be a metaphor for what you're creating. And there's much more to your world than only living your everyday routine. Traveling to new and different places improves your social and communication skills. And it's not necessary to travel to far-off places, to travel abroad to experience this. There's regions of this country where colloquially you communicate differently. Let me give you an example. I grew up in Texas, and in Texas, every soft drink was called a Coke. You go to a restaurant, the server asks, "What would you like to drink?" You say a Coke. They would ask, "What kind?" You say a Dr. Pepper. That was understood. Every soft drink was a Coke. But here in the Midwest, soft drinks are called sodas. So you go in and you order a soda. Had a really good friend and a former colleague that grew up in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, and he referred to everything as pop. Being in Texas, I thought he was talking about his father. So you see, there is some cultural experiences you can experience right here in your neck of the woods. You don't have to travel all over the world to experience that. And the same is also true for cultural experiences. Certain areas of the country are known for their music, for their art, for their farms and their ranches, for their rivers, for their lakes. Embrace travel and make it a point to travel more. When you do, you're actually expanding your social network. And what this does is this enriches your communication skills. And by social network, I don't mean necessarily social media, though that is a byproduct. But your social network is going to be expanded just by visiting some of these areas. And there's also a bonus that comes into play. You don't need to stay overnight to travel. You can travel close to where you live, and there's many areas you probably have never visited. But when you do travel, you really start to appreciate your home even more. If you do spend the night, you realize there's actually no place quite like home to call your own bed. And you may also be inspired to make changes in your home. You may be motivated to update your decor, your landscape, or even try new cuisine. When you do this, change validates you're becoming a stronger and more inspiring person. You're absorbing what the universe is providing. Now, a major lesson you most certainly are going to learn is that uncertainty is certainty. When you travel, you may experience a flight being delayed, you may have car trouble, there may be a traffic jam, the hotel may be overbooked, but you're going to learn to accept those things you cannot control. And it teaches you that obstacles are indeed opportunities. If your flight is delayed, or if your flight is canceled, you may receive a voucher from the airline toward your next flight, or you may get upgraded to another flight when it's rescheduled. Accept these perks as rewards for being patient. And when you do, you realize that you are accountable for how you react to any situation. You didn't cause the delay, so you're not responsible, but you are accountable for how you react. You become more grateful for that trip, and you celebrate that by journaling your gratitude. Now, recently, let me give you an example of one. Recently, I planned a trip and booked a trip to New York City. It was back in the winter. And right before I left, a crippling snow and ice storm hit the area of the Midwest where I live. All the roads were closed. All the flights were canceled. New York was fine. In fact, it was relatively warm in New York compared to here. I had to spend several hours working with the airlines and with the hotels to not only reschedule but also to cancel my bookings. And here's what the result was. By being patient and working through this obstacle, I was able to book my trip for an extra day. Not only was I able to book my trip for an extra day, but the hotel cost for that extra day was actually less than what I had previously booked for a shorter stay. And my airline ticket was cheaper. I got a refund for part of my airline ticket. The universe rewarded me for being patient and for turning that uncontrollable obstacle into a really pretty cool opportunity. So when you travel, you are destined to encounter unusual situations. Maybe you try a new type of food and you like it or you don't like it. But you realize that, hey, this is pretty cool. I'm trying something different. Maybe you're forced to sit next to someone that you're not comfortable around. Maybe you need to learn to share more. See, traveling is a valuable life lesson because you're immersed into situations where you learn what you really are all about. The cultural experience alone provides you insight on how sheltered your life may be. So discover areas of gratitude that you took for granted. Now, this photo I'm showing you here, this is a photo that I took in Puerto Vallarta. I took a trip down with two very good friends to Puerto Vallarta, and this is the sunrise on one morning from the hotel. Sunrise here in the Midwest looks nothing like this. So each time I look at this sunrise, and it is the photo on the front cover of my book, I gain momentum. I increase my motivation, and I renew my gratitude. I am grateful for that experience, and I'm grateful for being able to experience such a captivating sunrise. It's a metaphor for how I get up every morning. Traveling allows you to get to know the real you. Life is an amazing gift. So remember, as my t-shirt reads, success occurs when your dreams are bigger than your excuses. So let me ask you this. Where are you dreaming of traveling? Wouldn't it be really cool to replace that I wish I had with a I'm glad I did? And that's what you can do and what you should do. Now, before we go to our journaling activity for this week, I want to share with you a couple of comments from two of our viewers. One comes from Joe in Long Beach, and Joe commented on the previous episode of spending time in nature, but what he had to say is really critical and really applies for what we're talking about today with traveling often. Joe says, I definitely agree spending time in nature renews and recharges me. Getting outside and getting that fresh air and psychological sunshine has been a huge psychological burst for me. It gives me time to think, to download from infinite intelligence and process the info uninterrupted. Afterwards, I feel more relaxed, centered, and grounded. I'm ready to tackle the day. Think about what Joe was saying there about being in nature, and the same also applies to traveling. It renews and recharges you. The next comment is from one of our newest subscribers, Jeremy Carr from here in St. Louis, that he says he really digs this channel, so thank you, Jeremy, for that. But I also want to invite you to go check out his channel. Jeremy is a fellow YouTuber, an aspiring artist, and an incredible storyteller. And he demonstrates the hidden treasures found in your own community. So you don't have to travel far to realize many of the things that Jeremy is sharing with us. His channel is called Jeremy Carr's World Blog. Check it out. Let's go to our journaling activities for the week. First of all, as always, list all those wins you experienced. Next, ask yourself, when was the last time you traveled anywhere that was not to visit family or work related? What were the positive experiences of that trip? What were the challenges and obstacles you encountered? How did you react to them? How would you react to those same situations today, knowing who you are and how you've transformed? Then also make a list of 3 to 5 places you want to visit. Put a date next to each place as to your commitment to making that trip happen. And if you were to take a road trip, where would you head? So tell me, when are you leaving? And are there any places near you that you've not explored? Prioritize the ones you want to visit. I love this week's Bardism. It comes from St. Augustine. And St. Augustine teaches us that the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. And let's not forget that gratitude list. List at least 3 to 5 things you're grateful for today. And again, thank you for spending a few moments with me. Hit that subscribe button below. Click that bell next to it to make sure you get your notifications. Go out to my website, successeducator.com. Across the top are all my social media links. Follow me there. And of course, visit the Success Store. And remember, what comes to mind when someone mentions your name? That is your brand. So until next week, this has been Hump Day Hangover. Ciao.